Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. This is Tasha M. Dye, the Trade Whisperer, creator of the BYOB Cash Out Strategy. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you log in this morning, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. This is Thursday. I'm excited. Drop it in the chat where you're calling in from, along with those affirmations. Drop it in the chat. We are going to close the week out strong. This is our Thursday close out. Yes, drop it in the chat so we can get this call started. All right, so let's see, who do we have on the line this morning? All right, I see Toledo. Good morning, good morning. I see Milwaukee. Good morning, England. Good morning, Columbus. Good morning, Cleveland. Good morning, Miramar. Good morning, Chattanooga. Good morning, Bahamas. Good morning, Cleveland. Perry, good morning. Good morning, Columbus. Good morning, good morning. Guys, drop it in the chat. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I see you all. Go ahead and drop it in the chat. Now, there we go, Milwaukee. Come on, guys. All right. You up? You had your coffee. I know. Trust me, I've been up with you all week, right? So here we go, Columbia. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right. So guys, let's go ahead and let's get started. Let's get our minds right so we can get to some market analysis, okay? Let's go ahead. I am an educated BYOB master trader anointed for wealth. I am the signal. All my trades in and profit, I am 777, okay? So you want to make sure that that's the foundation, right? You want to make sure that that's the foundation of mindset. That's the foundation of your understanding. Like that is the foundation, okay, guys? I just want to make sure, that we're walking in that because you all have quite a bit that you add to it, right? You do, and that's good. So you want to know why you're doing it, right? We want to be in that right mindset. We have to be in that right skill set, that right thought process. And so that's always so very important. And so I see you still dropping it. I see you guys waking up, the coffee kicking in. I see you. Honestly, some of you guys already been up, and because I've seen the 777s. And then there has been some market activity where you guys probably were already up. Okay. So I already know. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my screen shared together here. And as I do that, let me know if this is your first time here with us this morning. Let me get a 111 in the chat. And if you are still learning how to cash out, let me get a 222. All right. So that's a 111 and a 222. And I'm going to get the screen share. Welcome, and welcome back. Welcome, and welcome back. Welcome and welcome back. All right, so here we go. I'm going to refresh both of these. That's what we're going to do. We're going to refresh both of them. I think I'm going to refresh them. I hope I'm going to refresh them. If the internet let me refresh them. All right, guys, so this is our red folders. This is our news today. If you notice, yes, you made some money. However, the market is crawling, right? So there are days where the market moves, and there are days when it's just bam, bam, like it's just flowing. And then there are days where it's flowing, but it's flowing slowly. Well, guess what's happening? All right, yesterday we talked about ECB. And so that's kind of like we talk about our feds, okay? So what's happening today is ECB. Which, like I said, when we say the feds, everybody know what the feds is, even though if you don't know what the feds are, it has something to do with our money. So that's the same thought process that you want to have when you think ECB, right? It has something to do with the money. Now, why is this impacting, right? Why is this going to impact? Why does this have impact? Well, simply because of the simple fact that the same way the US dollar is the major currency, the US dollar is the currency that is in every major currency pair. The US dollar, right, is the one that, is the safe haven currency. Well, guess what? um, they have like the GBPs have the most liquidity. Well, yes, I know I'm talking about euro, but they still, even though they got a divorce. So those of you all who are kind of new with us, last year when we were doing our election, we've been talking about Brexit. You probably heard about Brexit, but really didn't know about it. So for those of you all who are kind of new to us, we talk about it, we talk about the fact that they got a divorce. So um, they kind of split off. So you still have your GDPs, you have your euro, but when it's still very impactful. Just want to say that. So right now, that's the market that's open. So I mean, the market is open 24 hours, 7 days, not 7 days. Cryptocurrency has 7 days. The market's open 24/5. However, they have different times where you have the actual market open. When those markets are open, you have more liquidity. So I'm just trying to paint a picture for you guys, because has anybody been wondering why the market was a little slow this week, or why the market, you've been able to make money, but why it wasn't moving, right? So this is why. So expect some activity today. All right. Expect some activity today. So when we get on our call, you see you got the monetary policy statement. So when we get on our 9 o'clock call, I know it's geared toward indices, but we might be pulling up some euros too. We might be pulling this information up because I want you all watching euros. Now, this is going to happen between the call. Now, don't try to predict. I want you to analyze, right? We don't know what the reports are going to be. That's why the market is waiting on it. So, but there should be some activity today once we get to this. Now you see, we come over to our other one. So we come over here to our other one. And you can see, right? So it's their central bank. So just like I said, when it talks about the feds, I didn't mean to open it. That's why I was like, So, but it's just kind of, look, these are the things we've been talking about, all right? So they're going to start discussing tapering. Now, remember, we were talking about tapering over here in the United States. So as far as tapering, so what has happened? So for those of you all who are new, those of you who are trying to figure out what's going on, what's happening in the market, for those of you all in that, in that mindset or that understanding, tapering, we had to do a lot of economic support, right? There was a lot of economic support that went into the market due to COVID. Well, you kind of, what they don't do is just yank the Band-Aid off. You ever just yank the Band-Aid off? So it kind of stings, it hurts. So they try to taper it off, right? They try to taper it to where it doesn't have as much impact, because the government is not, I don't care where you are, as you can see that this is the European Central Bank. The government is not going to supplement forever. So what's going to happen is after this tapering happens, and it's actually, complete here, there, and anywhere that this is happening, then the market will go back to banks controlling interest rates, controlling economic policy, giving us back those beautiful trendy markets. So you always want to look at it from a financial perspective. So that's why it's always great when we hear tapering, because we get excited because we go back into those nice, predictable, nice, beautiful, trendy markets. But even though sometimes, we talk about predictable, you're an educated trader. So because you're an educated trader, you understand how the market flows, you understand how the market moves, right? You understand. And so the reason I'm spending so much time with this is I don't want anybody questioning your skill set, because what tends to happen is you'll start trading, or you'll think you start trading, or you'll think you can go to YouTube University and you don't really understand. So, you'll go and you don't understand, or you don't have the knowledge base. And that's why, the tools, the resources, the education, all of that is really important, because there's a difference. And you see, you're successful, right? We have people making money, like really, and we're compounding 6 figures in 6 months. So we're able to do this in the midst of the market that we've been having. And what you notice is that everybody can't do that. Everybody can't adjust to that. And that's because, like I say, they're at that YouTube University, or they don't feel that they need the skill set, but you position yourself, right? And when you position yourself to learn and properly learn, and you're empowered. And so that's the beauty behind this, is no matter what the market's doing, no matter what's happening, no matter what is transpiring, then you're in that position to win, right? You're in a position to where you come out on top. Like you're in a position, yeah, YouTube University, trust me, it's you're not gonna have the same outcome. It's just not gonna happen. So, but that's why this is important, guys. It's important for you to go through here and be empowered correctly. So let's go ahead and what we're gonna look at now. I have a few things pulled. Now, for those of you all who are not on last Thursday's training, what we did is we began incorporating, I was trying to see if anything else triggered. Y'all see how much they love me? They keep giving me a CHF. I was like, could y'all give me something else, please? So, but I'm saying that to say, yep, see, just that CHF. But I'm saying that to say that as we kind of look, so if you weren't on last Thursdays, then you probably didn't know. So what we're doing is implementing the bounce back along with the harmonic scanner, and we bring everything back to the vibrato. So we're empowering you to be able to utilize the tools, okay? We're empowering you, to really kind of dive in and be able to do that. And so what I want to do, see, that kind of got stagnant. This one, where is it at? I'm gonna write over those two. This one I'm looking for. Who took this trade? I'm gonna break this down for you, and we're gonna go analyze those other trades as well. This is one from yesterday. So you see what I mean about playing out, but playing out slowly. Playing out, but playing out slowly. So we marked this up yesterday. This is one of the ones I told you guys to watch. It's one of the ones I told you was gonna pull back down for a sell, right? This is one of those trades. And I'm showing you to show you that it is playing out. So that means patience, profit. That's what that means. Patience, profit. Because that was yesterday morning at 5 o'clock, we marked this up. So yesterday, so here we are 24 hours later, and it's just halfway through. So did anybody grab any of this money? Just kind of from one yellow line to the other. That's 30 pips. So you could have got your one trade a day, think about it. If that's what you're doing, one trade, or if that's how you're trading. Now, some days you will trade, some days you won't, but that's just, trust me, that's a guide. You'll make it for your personal trade plan. But, I'm just asking, did anybody take that trade? That's the key. All right. So, or did anybody go back and look at it? Or it was just too slow. So let me mark this for you. All right. So let's walk through. Thank you for answering. Thank you. Because I'm like, are y'all awake? Like, what is really going on? So let's look. So this was triggered on the hour. I want to show you how it played out. Okay, but you do have it marked up. So that's education then. That's education. So let's do this, and then we're going to analyze the other triggers and the other things that I actually pulled from the harmonic scanner. We'll look at some of these and see. Now, you see how we got a lot of euros? I'm not expecting a lot of activity right now from these, but you see they're starting to set up based on anticipation. So we'll look at some of these, right, based on anticipation of the reports coming out, okay? That's what's going to happen. But I want you to understand, so this played out. We're going to do live market analysis, okay? I think that really helps you guys when you go back. But I also don't want you to just mark it up and look at it. I want you to take it even if it's in your demo account, because that's how you're going to perfect that entry point, right? That's how you're going to perfect that movement, is for you to go in and dive in and actually take that trade. So that's ultimately, like I say, that's what you want to be able to do, is dive in and take that trade. And you want to start in your demo account. I mean, you want to start your demo account. So that's where you want to be, in that demo account. Okay, guys. So now let's see. So we know that this triggered on the hour, and when we were looking at it, so this says it's 9. So we were looking at it, we were, somewhere, I want to say up in here, let's just say around this area. I know we were looking, and then, yes, because I remember this pulled back up on around that 9 o'clock call. So when I look at this, okay, and, pull back up in here. So when you look at this, okay, I want you to see where this aligns. And yes, I'm going to go through the strategy from the 15-minute chart, but I'm trying to show you how, when you get these, you can actually drop down and get that good entry point, okay? Because when you guys see these setups, this is where they're starting to play out, but you have to know where to enter the trade. So what I'm gonna do is right here, okay, we had a blue line cross over the red right here in that downward momentum, okay? That blue line cross over the red right here in that downward momentum. I have a red candle with a flat top and my PSAR flip to the top. So I'm showing you that to show we actually have a setup on my higher time frame, okay? We actually have a setup here. Let me jump over here. Actually, let me mark this up too, because where it actually began to push through. All right. So I'm gonna show you right here as well. Now let me jump up here to my 4 hour. When I jumped to my 4 hour, I didn't have confluence over here. We talked about this area yesterday where we saw the rejection. The pivots are on here because we talked about the pivots. So for those of you all who need to go back and see what it looks like from scratch, then go back and watch yesterday's stream. It's on the YouTube channel, okay? Go back in yesterday's stream because we didn't have that play out. So you can see right here where you have that drop down. And then of course, we start getting confluence right up in here. So what you're looking at is this one, I really did not have confluence. Now, this is not a GBP pair where I can drop down. But at the same time, I'm on a higher time frame. I understand that this is 4 hours for every candle. So when I really look at this, I see my stochastic starting to get that movement down. So where my stochastic really began to get that movement down is right here. We got that crossover. It's not going to let me put it dead on it. So right up in this area, my stochastic started that crossover and cross down right up in here, okay? So I'm gonna move, like as you see me moving it over just a tad bit so you can see, but this is where you start seeing that crossover and cross down. So this is where my downward momentum actually began for my 4 hour. Now, this is important because once again, I don't get a candle every 5 minutes, every 15 minutes. I get a candle every 4 hours. So you're not trying to wait 4 hours for a setup. So you see the confluence, right? And then this one, if you look at this candle, I can guarantee you that this was red, green, green, red, 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 green, green, right? I can guarantee you that was the case. So we just know that it closed at the end of those 4 hours. We just know that it closed a little bit higher. That's all we know. But while you were looking at it, okay. And so you can definitely see this. So I see where this was like a really beautiful setup. And you see, this is where that setup started, okay, where it began. So now let's drop down to my 15. Now, my 15 minute, okay, my 15 minute and my 30 minute is that zone area where you really start focusing in and determining trades, okay? That's where you kind of see that. Now, my hour and 4 hour, obviously my higher time frame, market direction, market activity, and then of course my lower time frames are my entry points. So as we're looking at this, you can see where we had some momentum here. Now we really didn't have good confluence, and let me show you this, okay? Because I'm trying to show you, I'm gonna take these pivots off so it's not so busy. What I'm trying to show you is how the time frames really kind of play together. Because if I'm looking at this one, okay, this is where you can determine. Now this one, now here on my 4 hour, remember, we did not have like really strong confluence, okay? We didn't have that, we weren't there. So if it was green when you looked at it, it started, right, my leading indicator, but how many times have you seen where it'll start and then it'll pull back up? Like you see how it started and then it pulls back up. Like how many times have you seen that? So you don't want to just dive into a trade and not try to secure that profit, or you don't want to dive into a trade and that those lower time frames really not be there, or they really not be in alignment, because what happens is you'll get caught in that pullback and we don't want that. So when you look at this one, where this trade actually began, okay, was, if I look at it, let's zoom in a little bit so you could actually see the candles. So you notice that this is where we had that actual flat top candle, but it wasn't until a few trades later that we got the confluence to where we're actually going with it, right? So look, this is where it would have started. So you wouldn't have taken this trade because you would have started way down here, and we don't do that. We didn't even get a flat top candle till around here. So if I put this here, now we're oversold. Look at where we are. Come back up here to my hour. All right, I'm trying to help you guys, right? Come back over here to my hour. Yes, I have confluence there, but on my 4 hour, you see that on this one where I put this one down deep off in there, it's just not, it's in that same 4 hour, but it's just like, do I really want to get into a trade? You know, I wanted to break that line, basically is what I'm getting at. You wanted to break because you didn't have good confluence when it started, but you really want, remember how I always tell you guys, if the candles start, right? If you don't get, like, because I get it a lot. Do I have to get in on the first candle? When can I actually get in a trade? Guess what? If it's already passed before you get confluence, you want to wait on a good setup. So that's what I'm trying to show you. So even though this looked okay, this is like, you know, it's starting to look okay. When you get down here, look at how where your entry, it had already had that momentum, which means you're gonna get some pullback, some bounce back. Now, had you got in here and you, like, let's just say you did get in and that you put that stop loss, or you put that stop loss, like if you didn't put it up here, you would keep that stop loss outside of the PSAR, you would have really got tapped out. And that's what I'm trying to help you guys with, is understanding, because when I drop down to my 5 minute, okay, you can see now my super scalpers, y'all would have took profit. But what I'm trying to show you is consistency, and understanding that patience of a good entry point is key in what you're looking for. So now when you come back over here after it's gone through all this activity, right? When I look at it from here, you know, you can definitely see where you have the lineup, right? We started back here and you can see we really didn't take off till we got about right here. So what I'm trying to tell you, if you don't mind some cushion, you know, this is where you're closer to that 92% accuracy rate, right? This one is where you're closer to that 100%. This is where you're closer to that 92 because you still have that room for error. This is where you're closer to the 100%. And it's just really about you being able to see, because when you look, my momentum started, we actually got all the way down here. Okay, we got all the way down here. We got some correction pullback. You see the market was knocking on the door consistently and it finally broke through. So yes, I know where my stochastic is, but this is also you beginning to understand the market and you see where this came down. So I don't want to spend all morning going over a previous trade, but I'm just trying to get you guys to see how you would have been able to take this trade and how you would have entered it, because the setups that we're about to do, those actually help for that as well, right? So, and you can see like this one should have still been selling, right? As you begin to drop down and you look at those tighter entry points. All right. And so we're going to do some more setups, but does that help? You know, because the trades played out already, you know, and so if anything, I just want to make sure you guys can grab it. Okay, good. Good. All right, good. Because that's the question I get a lot. And so, you know, it's like you see the trade, you know, I'm talking about from a learning perspective. It's like you see the trade, but yet, you know, you want to do that. So let's see, did they give me anything else? Oh, geez. Yay. We don't have to do that one. All right, no, I'm just playing. So let's see. We're gonna go mark this up. You guys will understand. It's just the amount of liquidity. So Euro USD is triggering. I don't have that one, right? So this is on the 15 minute and it's at 1.18262, right? So, and I'm gonna go ahead and write down the AUD USD, and that's on the 15 minute, okay? And we might do that CHF. We might go ahead and do it. We might. All right, so let's dive back over here. Let me do it. Some of y'all cash out on CHF. Haven't typed that in a long time. All right, let me take the pivots off. All right, so basically it triggered for a sale, all right, on the 4 hour. And so I kind of want to show you. Let me see, USD CHF. They got a little liquidity in there today. Go ahead. I'm still not gonna trade it, but I'm not showing any love to CHF. I'm showing love to people on the call because I'm still not gonna touch it. Like, but I'm showing love to people on the call because some of you guys like CH. I see it. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is let me put this trigger on here. Where did it go? I don't know what I just dropped. Hey, and you got jokes. Actually, I'm showing love to skill set because that's the one that triggered on. That's the only one triggered on the 4 hour. All right. So this is where, and then also we pulled this up yesterday. I might do one on here too because on a 9 o'clock call because I've got some questions and they got some people that like the white background. So we might pull some up on there as well, give a little flexibility. All right. So here now, did anybody start using the white background since we did it yesterday? Anybody? So, all right. So this is where that trigger happened. Now, one thing I want to identify, right? Is we're kind of in that like a range area. I'm gonna change the color of that. So you can see, that we're kind of like in that, you see how it's kind of going in that range area, just like the one we just finished analyzing right here. So you see it's kind of in that same kind of range area, okay? And where it's been kind of hanging out in here. So still a no. All right, so all right, let me see. All right. Yeah, I know. I like the dark background too. But like I just know some people, based on some feedback that I received, that it kind of makes it easier to see sometimes because of eyesight and different things like that. So, but for me, like I don't even want this open, so it's just personal preferences, I guess. So now what I'm looking at is, let's talk, we talking trends, bounce back, identifies trends. So this one was triggered on the 4 hour. All right. It was triggered on the 4 hour. So let me get a trend line. Okay. Now remember, these are trend candles. So that whole touch thing that you guys are typically looking for, it's there. Trust me. Right. So if I drop down to my hour, you can see how the touches are there. But remember, these are trend candles. So you're going to have to it's not really making adjustments, but you're going to see how the candles, right? So you notice that on that 4 hour, all the candles were nice and green. Everything was moving up. But now look at what the Japanese candles look like. So that's Japanese candles. We like trend candles. I'm just trying to paint a visual for you so you can understand, right? So you can really kind of understand the advantage that you have by using the trend candles. But I just wanted to show you how the traditional candles are tapping on that trend line. So when you draw that trend line, the higher the time frame, the more trendy that is going to be, which you see everything on here is green. So when I drop down to my hour, all right, I'm here on my hour, and you can see where it's tapped on there. Now, honestly, the only time I will ever touch a CHF is everything is in alignment. That's just me. And let me help you understand why. When you start trading, okay, and you start coming through here and you're pulling on these triggers, you want to pull things like when you analyze, you want the liquidity. There's a training in the playlist that talks about liquidity in the market, liquidity and volatility. Well, you see, this actually had a little liquidity today, but this is typically CHF has the least amount of liquidity, GBP has the most. So when you look at, where the currencies fall, kind of in the spread of that and in the midst of that, that's going to help you, so that's why I say for a CHF, everything needs to be in alignment all across the board, that's why I'm like that. It's not, I didn't just pick CHF and be like, you know what, I don't want to touch it. So now when you look here, but I know a lot of people that do trade it. So, I'm trying to help you guys out because it's doing what it's supposed to do. So you notice that this was the trend line. Okay. This is the trend line. And of course, this is where it broke the trend line, okay? So you're gonna see the trend line and then it breaks. And this is what the bounce back identifies. Now, when I come back down, all right, when I get to my lower timeframes, you're now seeing how it's reacting to that trend line. And so it gets on top of that trend line and it has to break through kind of what we just saw over here. It has to break through that line. It has to break through a support and resistance. It has to break through a trend line. When you think areas of value are trend lines, and support and resistance lines are areas of value, okay? And so the market is always going to react around those things. So you can definitely see right here, okay? You guys see it? And so now you see we started making that wave as it comes down. So I got another trend. So you'll see it'll be kind of triggered on, I'm trying to draw a channel. So you'll see that it'll start kind of being triggered. Once it breaks through, the market starts doing another wave. And, not like wave, like goodbye, like Elliott wave. So you can see how it starts flowing through that channel now. So it broke that one where it was in the one up here. Okay, it was in that upward momentum, and you can kind of see on that 15, but I'm just trying to show you how the market respects those boundary lines. You guys see it? We started up here. All right, we started up here, but when I'm in here, that just looks like we're in a sell. It just all looks like a sell. That's what it looks like. And so that's the one that triggered. Now, let me tell you, with the bounce back, okay, you on average, you should be able to get about 20, 30 pips on average, okay? On average. However, when you pull it over here and you analyze it properly. However, if you're with the trend of the market, you are with the trend, you're flowing with it, you'll be able to obviously do more than that, right? But you have to understand some market structure and things like that, because this, you look at that, I don't need all that right there up here. When you're looking, look how this pulled down and look how it come down. So where would you take this, right? This trade should come down if I close out structure, but you're going to have some congestion, right? We want to pay attention because it's just like street traffic. And you're going to have some congestion up in this area right here when you come through and you drop those support and resistance. All right. So that is one. It's already started, so you would have to wait, like that correction is pulling through. You would have to wait because it already started. So you definitely have to wait till that correction is done. All right. So let's go ahead and I was trying to see did anything else line up. Now I do have a Euro CAD. So thought we had Euro CAD came from the harmonic scanner. Well, let's pull this one. Questions, comments, testimonies. Questions, comments, testimonies. All right. So we just triggered on the 15, okay? We just triggered on the 15-minute chart for a sale, right? You guys saw it, didn't you? You saw when it popped up. So what I'm gonna do is let me put this call price on here. All right, that's that call price. So now what we want to do, obviously you want to identify trend. Now look, tonight we're talking trends, okay? Tonight, you say you use a white background. I just saw the comment. Tonight, good. Is it helping? So tonight we're gonna do part 2 of the bounce back in the trends, okay? So I'm gonna help you identify that tonight at 9 p.m. So now what you notice is on the 15-minute, this trigger for a sell. So we're gonna drop this over here, all right? Now you see that here you got your trend line, okay? So we got the trend line, and then you can see where it's trying to break that. Look like it's trying to retest, but this is on the 15-minute. Remember, I can't determine direction on the 15-minute. So I'm gonna come up here to my higher time frame. Now, what I'm seeing is this is in that upward momentum still right there. So you can see, look how my trend line, when you come up to the higher time frame, look how it just looked like it just cut through the candles. All right, trend candles, gotta love them. So look at how this is kind of moving up, right? Now let me go to my 4-hour where we at. So now looking at this, okay, looking at this 4-hour, do you guys think that we are about to take a sale? Do you guys think that it's about to break down? When I look at my hour, you see my hour, you look at your 4-hour, and I'm gonna say something else in just a minute, but do you guys believe that we are about to dive into a sell? Exactly. So this is why you have to understand how to analyze. Because when I come back over here, okay, now what happened is we have been in a, let me come back here. Let me make sure you guys see it. So what happened is we have been in an upper momentum. And then of course, we had kind of shifted a little bit. Now, you know, when we talk about the last significant level, that's where we're at. We're at that. So do we really even have a trend change yet? Because we're at that last significant level. So if this was to pull up, break, and then pull back down, then we would actually have a trend change. But technically at this moment, I'm still in a bullish market, okay? The market is still buying. Now, that's one. This is why I tell you that step 3, that top-down analysis, you guys coming in and understanding is really, really important. So that's that part. The next thing is when I get deeper, remember it triggered on the 15. So sometimes we just saw they trigger on an hour, they trigger on a 4 hour, but they triggered on the 15. And when you see that it triggers on the 15, right, what you're noticing is on the 15, where I quit making my last significant levels, I haven't really come out of that correction yet. And so if you notice, like, look at what happened. So this what, remember that structure inside of structure. So I just showed you the big picture structure, but you see how this trigger right here, and I mean, not this one trigger, but you see that little mini trend right here, the little mini trend. So that's what it's been doing. So this is very consistent. That's what the trigger is all about. So this is very, very consistent. Okay, it's very consistent, and it's a very, very valid trigger. It's just that you have to come in and you have to analyze. You get to figure out what the market's doing. You notice that we didn't come past this point, right? We didn't come past this point, and it looked like it stopped being held right up in here, right? So now it looked like it's breaking through there. So the trigger was good, right? The trigger that pulled it to say, hey, go look at this little trend right here. It was really good. However, I have to take into consideration what's going on, because this would be where you would take your profit, right? Which if it pulled through there and it had broken, you know, look at the amount of liquidity in there. There's no liquidity in there right now because we wait on the news first and foremost. But just to kind of help you guys see where we are. Not much, right? So we just sit and we wait, and it doesn't look like it's coming down, but obviously what's going to happen is going to determine where it's going to go. You guys see it? Any questions, comments, testimonies, questions, comments? All right. So let's see. Let us look at the harmonic scanner, one from the harmonic scanner. If you guys see anything, I'm telling you now, and look, this consolidated, so we're going to leave this alone. If you guys see anything, let me know, because I'll keep looking at these, trying to see if they double trigger, which means like on more than one tool. So you see, you know what? Haha, that's the one I got from the scanner. That's funny. That's funny. Out of all of the ones. All right. So EuroCAD here, trigger for a buy, right? Let me pause this. So let's see. Oh, you got a list. You got a list. Let me see. EuroCAD. That's good though. That means you up analyzing. You're up analyzing. So this was about 30 minutes ago that this one triggered for a buy. So, and I like it when I get to show you guys when they trigger in two different directions. So, all right, so let's mark it up. Uh-oh, GU started moving. Did we? So yeah, this movement had happened before, but it's still stuck at that line. It's still stuck there. Yeah, this kind of been moving since before the call. You took this? You took that one? That was definitely a really good trade. So let's analyze this EuroCAD, and then we'll kind of go back. And so yeah, that was definitely a good one. But it's all of them probably slowing down a little bit because we only got what, a few hours left now for everything drops. So let's see. So let me put my take profits on here. Well, hey, we didn't miss it. We just lived to trade another day. Trust me. Trust me, I know. Cause I had to get myself out of saying that too. Cause I used to be like, oh, I missed a trade. Oh man, I missed that trade. Hold on. I'm gonna go back and check these numbers. I did mess that up. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. So something was off, because that was just too. All right, so let's try this again. Yeah, exactly. Because I used to say that too, but I mean, did we really miss it? We didn't take that one. You know how many trades are available in the market at the same time? That's how I train my mind to think about it. Like, you know how many trades happen at the same time? If I feel like if we operate from that like, oh, I missed it, then we'll be chasing trades and not skill set. So that was kind of important to me. That's how I kind of made that transition, because I want the skill set. It's because the skill set is what's going to get you paid. You are welcome. Cause I mean, trust me, I understand, because I used to do the same thing. I did. So be like, oh man. So now when you look, so here's EuroCAD, okay? So these orange lines are gonna be what the harmonic scanner identified as a take profit. And then I'm gonna make a yellow line for the one that we just did, okay? That says 0, where it triggered for a buy. All right. So that's the buy. These are the sells. Let me come in and make my adjustments. Yes, I adjust them because they are nothing more than support and resistance lines. So let's talk about this trigger for a sell. Now, as I look at this, okay, on my hour, because that's where we pull our harmonic scanner trades from. If anybody wants to know why, there is a playlist, harmonics and a BYOB cash out, harmonics and a vibrato, something to that effect. But that's exactly what it's actually speaking to, okay? That's what it's speaking to. So now, when I look here, all right, look at this blue line cross over the red and the downward momentum, okay, around that 80, BYOB cash out, first indicator. Then, of course, now we're looking for the red candles, right? You can kind of see we don't have a piece or anything like that. So now, when I come here to my higher time frame, I'm not quite there on confluence, not quite there. So you can see where this is still kind of going up. We're starting to get some curve. You can see where we're starting to get some pullback, right? So you definitely can see where all this is taking place, like how everything is laying out. So let's go ahead and drop down, right? Let's start dropping down and see what it's looking like. Definitely having some nice, strong, did I just move this? I think I did. Definitely having some nice, strong rejection to this area right up in here. And you can start seeing how it's kind of bouncing off of there. So all you're seeing me doing is looking at this from every time frame, every viewpoint, right? You're seeing me kind of look at this, okay? Now here on my 5 minute, you can definitely see, what's being triggered. So let's see, can we add it? Because it's a little ratchety. Let's add a trend line to this. All right, just like we would have done from the bounce back, we kind of add a trend line to this. Here go our touches and everything. And you can definitely see how it's doing that. So these trend lines, adding the trend lines onto the harmonic scanner, whether you pull it from the bounce back or the harmonic scanner, it's going to help you too. Okay. I really think it's going to help you. I just, I don't want to give it to you like all at once, but now the way the call schedule is broken down, the way we have the basics where you really come in and grasp the foundation on Tuesday, right? Where it's really laid out for you on Tuesday, how to walk through this. Then on Thursday, we can have these advanced conversations, and then we actually implement it. So no matter where you fall, this could be your day 1 or your day 365. No matter where you fall in here, all the calls are tailored for you, okay? So all of the calls are tailored to put you in a position of success, okay? That's what they are. And that's why we tailor them the way that we do. So you guys could grab on and understand what's happening. And so when you see it, okay, you can see that I'm kind of bouncing around here. You see how I'm on here. So does that trend line help you understand because think about it, the harmonic patterns identify reversal patterns. What is a trend line? It helps you, it's a trend line helps you identify the trend in the market. And when we break the trend line, we start having reversal patterns. So they actually play together. I love it. They actually play together, right? It's very, very important. So you can see where you look at how we're starting to get that curve, but we have to break that line. And when I come down here to my 15, right, you can see I'm at the bottom, right? I'm approaching that oversold area. And you can see right here where it's tapping on that trend line. You say, is the 1 hour the best time frame to draw trend lines? On UK time needs to go back to. We're going to do a part 2 tonight, but now it's not about it being the best. It's about it being, how do I say this? It's about understanding, because if I, like you saw in the other one where we put the trend line inside of the trend line, like, we looked at the big picture. So let me, I think this will help. Because I'm gonna kind of dive into this. So I'm not gonna get into it real heavy right now. Actually, let me do the other one. It has some more, it's more trendy. So let me come over here. Let me help you. All right. So if I come up here to my daily, okay. If I come up here, I'm up here on my daily. Okay. When I'm here, I can draw a trend line. So it's you can kind of come in here. Let me change the color of this. Just so we can, I'm gonna just make them blue just because. So now when I come down, like I come down to my 4 hour and I start seeing where the market's at, you start seeing how the market is reacting, right? So this, obviously, the higher time frame with anything, the more significant that support and resistance, that, rejection, right? The higher time frame with anything, anything is going to have more significant impact. Okay. So, but now that we see that, okay, what you start seeing is, other little trends, like I'm on a 4 hour, you start seeing other little lines in there, like this one here that we already marked up. Then when I come down some more, I start seeing more, right? I start seeing more. This is I'm not going to really go into this in detail right now. I'm just trying to paint a quick picture because this is part of what I wanted to talk about tonight. So you can definitely see how you just start seeing more trends, more, like even inside of here, now you can see more. So you just have to understand where you are in the market, because there is structure. If I get down to the 1 minute, I got some in here too, right? But can a 1 minute give me any direction? So if I'm inside of that zone, right? If I'm inside of that channel, when I get down here in this 1 minute, guess what? I got some more trends. I have more. There's always structure inside of structure. So it's basically, you got to remember, the higher the time frame, the stronger that is going to be held, right? So it's always structure inside of structure. So come back tonight. Good. All right. So here on this Euro CAD, now when I'm looking at this one, okay, you can definitely see how it's kind of sitting on this one, right? So do you want to do your trend lines with the time frame that you're trading on, right? So if I'm if I'm on an hour and a 4 hour, then it's not, okay, let me not say trading on. I told you guys not to say that. So if I'm on a 4 hour and a 1 hour, then I'm gonna identify my trend right here, because that's, I'm looking at the market structure, the direction of the market. So this time frame doesn't change what this tells me. This tells me where the market's going. So right now the market is being held. When I come down here, then I'm looking, you see more activity, you see more structure, and you see me trying to break through here, but I'm also oversold, right? I'm oversold right here. So now when I come to my 5 minute, and we had a buy trigger that was right up in here, okay? We had that buy trigger that was up in there. Let me unpause it and see if anything else pulled through. So we had that, and you can see, but look what's happening. It's always called a correction. So what's happening is this is going to bounce off of this trend line. So both of the triggers were valid, right? Both of them were valid. Both of them were valid. It's just, I mean, because this even was called over here and it was probably green, but you understand why. Remember I told you 99% of the time it's going to be triggered when, you know, it's showing that correction, like you can see it on a higher time frame. So, right. The curve at the 4 hour, let's see. You got your pivot. Oh, is that the R2? Right. You talking about right up in here? So yes, it's absolutely close to a psychological level. You trying to put all of it on there. Yes, okay, let's put it all on there. Let's put it all on there. So right here, right? Good observation. You know, so I just didn't put the psych levels on there this morning, but that's, you know, that doesn't mean it's not usable or you're not supposed to use it. So really, really good observation. So let me explain to you what he just said, all right, and what he just saw. So here's the trend, right? Here's a trend, and this is what you guys got to get into it. I know this was kind of new, and I just didn't want to mark it up like, you know, but like the coloring book from jump as we close out. But let me explain to you. So right here, we talk about psychological levels, right? We know where our psych levels are. Those are the more zeros. So you see, this is that upward trend. This is our trigger, right? We have that trigger right up in there for that cell. I have my psych level that's right here. And look at what, you see how so much, remember I told you guys the reversal patterns happen around psychological levels. If it's not going to go through the psych level, then we're going to reverse at the psych level, right? And so you kind of got a midpoint right up in here, and you can kind of see how the market is kind of respecting that, right? So you can kind of see like how the market's respecting those levels. The market is going to respect. I told you there's nothing more than street signs. The market is going to respect it. So you can see how it rejected off of the midpoint. The turnaround on the trend line is at this psych level. And so that's, and also with the pivots, remember on a higher time frame, we typically hang out between R1 and S1, right? The pivot point is the center point of the market. So we are extremely overbought considering on the pivot perspective because it's at the R2. Does all of that make sense? So everything that we've been trading on just was put on that chart just now. Questions, comments, testimonies. It's time for me to transition. No questions, no comments, no testimonies. All right, it makes sense, good. So what you guys are seeing is how you take all of that and kind of implement it. But what I don't want you guys doing is having coloring books. But I was definitely watch this trade. You know, you can have a coloring book as long as you know how to read it. Just don't overanalyze, but watch this trade. You know, like I said, you got the news that's coming up in between the call. So now, you see? All right. And obviously you see what GBP has been doing. It's been just beautiful this morning. All right, guys. So with that, no question. It's coming together. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love that. Right. I love that. So, you know, so what you guys want to do is, you know, if you don't have to get up and get moving right now, you know, obviously, you know, what you want to do is kind of hang out on the charts a little bit. You got a little bit of time, but I really want you guys to see how the economic impact impacts the market. So if you can, in between the calls, you know, kind of analyze the charts around the time the news hits, you know, as a, you know, because I want you guys to start opening these folders and understanding, because this is tapering, right? This is tapering, right? This is tapering. And so this is economic impact. So I definitely want you guys to, you know, it says, but look, it says it will likely start discussing tapering. It will likely. So you definitely want to, you see, like I said, don't get too excited about it. So, but yeah, guys, go look at that. All right. Well, I love you, each and every last one of you all. Don't forget, we're going to close out strong this week. So 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, right? 9 o'clock, we'll be back on here, and 9 o'clock tonight. So that is the AM and the PM. All right. Love you. And that is the Eastern Standard Time. So you guys are so welcome. I will see you back there. Y'all be blessed this morning.